Welcome, everyone. Welcome back to the Women's Voices Now Film Festival 2026. My name is Heidi Bash Harod, and I proudly serve as the Executive Director of Women's Voices Now, where we use film to drive social change that advances girls' and women's rights globally. If this is the first time that you're encountering us for a live event, welcome. If it's not, welcome back. So lovely to have you, and looking forward to many more of our audience members enjoying the conversation that we're about to have, as it will be recorded and sent out to all ticket holders and eventually be on our YouTube channel for everyone to learn about ethical deepfakes in documentary filmmaking. A few notes of housekeeping before I have the pleasure of introducing our moderator and our discussants for the day. We are almost done with the 2026 Film Festival. We have this event today, and a week from today, we'll come back together for the awards ceremony where we will hear and learn which incredible films are being awarded cash prizes in this year's festival. As well, we will meet and honor our Women Making Waves awardee, Carmen Marquez, with the Women Making Waves Award, and we'll hear remarks from her, and then we will go into the celebration in filmmaking that we will share together. If you are having any access issues to films, please remember to email events@womensvoicesnow.org, and one of our incredible team members will get back to you as soon as possible. Films are available for viewing through May 20th. So if you are concerned that you don't have enough time to watch all of the 36 plus films screening from 26 countries, you will have an extra week after the festival award ceremony takes place. They will be available for you to watch. I know, especially after you know who the winners are, that might motivate some extra film screening, so don't worry about that. Please continue to share the film festival with those you care about and in your circles of influence, because perhaps they will benefit from interacting with us as well. I want to congratulate my team for making it this far to our industry chat day. I'm so looking forward to having this experience all together. Thank you to those who were able to join us, and thank you to our event participants. So without further ado, remember that today we're having our industry chat about ethical deepfakes in documentary filmmaking. We all know that AI is among us and changing our world rapidly, and it is very much also going to become part of how it is a part already of how we do our storytelling. And it can allow us to hear from some of the people in the world who have um, suffered and survived some of the most difficult things to speak about, and also those who have left us, who succumbed to whatever happened to them. So we have to ask: is it ethical? Is this filmmaking? How are we supposed to manage this new technology, and how should our filmmakers and us as audience members be thinking of this technology as it becomes part of everything we do, not just filmmaking? So to unpack this topic, to share with us some incredible work and even some samples of how ethical deepfakes can make for impactful filmmaking, we have three incredible people. First, I'm going to introduce our moderator, Promita Banerjee, who is joining us from the future as she is located in Delhi, in India. Promita, I have to say, was one of our, and give a shout out to her that she was one of our previewers as well. So she was one of the first people to review films coming through our film festival this year as submissions. And so grateful to Promita for giving so much time and energy and love and dedication to evaluating the films in that first round of selection. Promita is an author turned filmmaker. She believes that cinema serves as a mirror to both individuals and the societies they inhabit. On the cusp of her 40s, she pursued formal training at the New York Film Academy, driven by an unrelenting desire to translate stories into fluid visual language. Promita's engagement with artificial intelligence emerged from a deeply personal space. She developed an AI-based support system she calls Bud, a friend, philosopher, and guide, and in moments of anxiety, depression, and obsessive thought patterns, Bud became a steady, non-judgmental presence. Currently, she is developing a screenplay based on her novel, Songs from Then, titled Mrityu Kanya, meaning Daughters of Doom, apologies for not pronouncing that properly, which examines the aftermath of genocide through the lived experiences of women subjected to violence and systemic erasure. Alongside this, she is writing her second book, Can't Love Crazy, a deeply personal exploration of living with mental illness. Her work sits at the intersection of storytelling, trauma, and technology, seeking not only to narrate, but to heal, question, and reimagine human connection in an increasingly artificial world. Our next person that I'm going to introduce, who is one of our discussants, Shiran Mlamdovsky Somech, live from Tel Aviv. She is an entrepreneur and innovator at the intersection of generative AI and social impact. The founder and CEO of Generative AI for Good, an impact company that develops AI-powered initiatives to amplify silenced voices, turning emerging technology into a force for human dignity. Her flagship initiative, Hearing Their Voices, uses AI avatars and voice technology to safely preserve and share testimonies of survivors of conflict-related sexual violence from Iran, Israel after October 7th, Syria, Ukraine, Iraq, and beyond. Launched at the United Nations, the project won the inaugural SEMA Impact AI Award. Shiran's broader body of work spans multiple AI for Good campaigns, reaching over 60 million views globally. She holds an EMBA from Kellogg School of Management at Northwestern University and combined LLB, LLM degrees from Bar-Ilan University. Her work has been presented at the UN, NATO, UN Women, IHRA, March of the Living, and additional international forums. She believes the most powerful thing AI can do is make us more human and lives by 4 words: dream, dare, do, disrupt. Welcome, Shiran. And last but not least, our other discussant, coming to us from Havatzelet HaSharon, near to Tel Aviv, Tal Harary. She is a creative director and content strategy expert with over 15 years of experience developing prime time series, global TV formats, and purpose-driven campaigns. She specializes in crafting stories that engage wide audiences while driving real-world impact. Her background spans senior creative roles at Keshet Media Group and Armoza Formats, ITV Studios, where she led cross-platform content development. As a creator and showrunner, she has developed and directed successful factual entertainment series from concept to broadcast. And today, she serves as creative lead at Generative AI for Good, where she develops creative approaches for social impact storytelling using technology and AI. Her work focuses on turning complex, sensitive topics into clear, engaging narratives, enabling safe, direct storytelling without losing authenticity. I'm so grateful to the 3 of you for being here. I will make my screen go dark, and I'm very much looking forward to listening to the 3 of you discuss.
Thank you so much. Hello, everybody. I'm really looking forward to this discussion. I think this is a very pertinent discussion we should be having. So, whenever you say we can start, I can start shooting all the questions at you. I'm so sure there'll be so many who would want to listen to what you have to say as experts. Right? Okay, so let me start with the first question. I think this is for Shiran. Deepfakes are usually associated with manipulation, yet your work suggests that we can also restore voice and agency. Where did your relationship with this technology begin? And what brought you to see its potential for ethical storytelling?
Thank you so much, Promira and the team. It's a privilege to be here today in this forum alongside people who have dedicated work to do good. So I, coming from the tech industry, I used to work with startup companies and multinationals like Honda, Volvo, Hertz. I call it, I had a dreamy job. Like we travel all around the world and scale up startup we work with. Some of them was AI-based startups. And I think what happened was it's around 5 years ago, I met a domestic violence survivor that shared her story with the whole country. And it got me thinking about all the women that are not with us anymore. And I thought, what if we can hear their voices? What if we can hear what's happened to them, what we can learn as a society? And then the idea pumped into my head, and I thought we can leverage this new AI technology. And think about it, it was 5 years ago, before the hype of the ChatGPT, the Gen AI, the deepfake, and all of that. And I thought we can leverage this technology, and we can give them the option to speak. And with this insane idea in mind, I decided to quit my day job and to put all my time, all my effort in this initiative. And luckily, after a few months, we launched a campaign called Listen to My Voice, where we brought virtually back to life 5 diverse women, each of them from different backgrounds. And this was a tremendous success. It went very viral on social media. We've been on national news, international TV channels. We also presented in the UN. NATO reached out to us and want us to present, so we present also there. And we won international awards, but above all, we increased awareness of domestic violence. And
Mm.
and since the day I understand, and after I experience the power of this technology, that this is what I want to do for a living. I continue and leverage this technology to do good. And after a while, I
Mm.
established generative AI for good. And in order to work with the leading companies, tech companies, leading organization, and I work with Microsoft, March of the Living, the UN Women, all to give a voice to the voiceless.
Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, I think I feel personal to this when you speak, because it does resonate that when you have a cushy job and it takes so much of courage, but then you have this conviction to leave everything and pursue what you. I think it's called a call. I think I would call this calling, and I just feel what you're saying, and yeah, it
Yeah,
completely makes sense. Okay, so
it is a calling. It is a
I
calling.
know,
I
I
agree.
know, I know, I know. I
Yeah.
mean, I think it just happens that you just get aligned with what you're supposed to do in life, and then it just starts with one little thought, probably that little thought in the mind, and I think it comes so strong that you feel that yes, this is it, right? I'm so happy that you did. Yeah, yeah, I really want to thank you for doing
Thank you.
this. Yeah. Okay, Tal, I have a question for you. So, many survivor stories, especially in context of war and displacement, remain untold due to fear, stigma, or risk, maybe. How do you see AI mediated identity as a tool that expands access to testimony? Okay, so this is going to be the first part. And the second part is, does it introduce new barriers? And in your experience, what shifts if once a survivor believes that they can share their journey without revealing their identity?
Okay. So actually, I can, first of all, thank you for having us.
Mm.
I come from, my background is in documentary storytelling. So I came to
Right.
this work in a very, from a very practical problem, not from the technology side itself. I mean, the question was, how do we allow someone to speak when being seen
Mm.
could put them in risk, actually? And
Mm.
just as
Mm.
importantly, how do you protect them without losing them in that process?
Right.
So actually, because traditional anonymization often does that, we're used,
Mm.
we're all as the creators and also as viewers, we are used to have blurred faces and people pixelations and heavy voice distortions. It kind of
Mm.
protects identity, but it also strip away the individual, the
Mm.
expressions, the
Mm.
voice, the small human details, even, sometimes when someone is being quiet, everything that allows you to feel the person in front of you. So sometimes even their dignity is denied by these blurred faces. So what
Mm.
interested me was whether we could create another option, like something that allows protection, but still holds
Mhm.
on to the presence of the person. And what I've been seen in practice that once someone understands that they can speak without fully exposing themselves, something shifts like quite deeply because
Mm.
you don't choose words. You just speak your truth. There's a different kind
Mm.
of openness.
Mm.
People go further in the interview. They stay longer inside of the
Mm.
story.
Mm.
They're less kind of guarded, okay?
Mm.
And the
Mm.
testimony
Mm.
becomes more deep. We've seen this
Right.
across
Right.
different contexts and also in different places from
Mm.
all over the world. I mean, from Rwanda, from Israel, from Ukraine, from Iraq, from Syria, from Iran. And what gave us like the sense of safety it exists. The story doesn't just get hold, it becomes more human. Okay. So,
Mm,
but
mm, mm,
like the technology itself doesn't create that. It
mm,
just
mm,
allows it.
mm,
It only creates the
absolutely.
conditions to do it.
Yes.
At the end of the
Yeah.
day, what carries the testimony is still the emotional truth, the voice, the hesitation, the rhythm of the
Mm,
person,
mm,
the
mm,
way that
mm,
someone remembers something. That's where people actually connect. They don't connect to
mm,
technology, they do connect to the story.
mm. I'm so glad that you created the option B. Sometimes option B is one of the best options that you would ever have, right? Yeah, I can imagine that there's so many people around the world, and especially women and children, who feel threatened that they cannot speak. Like today, I came to know about my staff, my house help, who is subjected to domestic violence, but she cannot talk because if she does, she fears for her own life. So I said that you have to speak up, and sometimes I feel that uh, that option B, that if there is another face behind that voice, it becomes stronger and it is heard. Yes, I can. Yeah, thank you for that. Thank you for that. Okay, Tal, I'm going to ask you another one. Okay. In AI mediated storytelling, when a survivor lends their voice to a digital self, how much of that self remains theirs? You know, how much is quietly reinterpreted, and how much autonomy do they truly hold in this process?
Mhm. I think I think people are actually I think people, for me, it's like the line, between protection and um, telling the truth, like uh, being able to express everything is very delicate, and you
Mm,
feel it like more than you have than you can define it. I mean, the moment the
mm,
technology starts shaping
mm,
meaning instead of protecting the testimony, you've crossed the line. I mean,
mm,
that's the main line, because we're not
mm,
there to improve reality or to translate
mm,
someone into
mm,
something more compelling or different. We're there to create the perfect conditions where someone can tell the truth safely and still
mm,
be felt as themselves. So
mm,
the process has to stay very close to the person behind the story. It's not
mhm.
about like building a version of them. It's about
Right.
finding the right distance, like how much you
Mhm,
show. It's more of how much you kind of even hold back, and
mhm,
how they still come through as human beings.
mm,
There
mhm,
were quite a few moments where something was technically accurate and even
mm, mm,
perfect, even very,
mm,
convincing, but
mm,
emotionally, it didn't feel like
mhm.
them. And those are usually the moments where you, as a director, can step and stop and rethink, how do
Right.
we make them human, and not how do we make
Mm,
like the best avatar or the best technology.
mm,
Because
mm.
being accurate is not the same as truth. We are being accurate to the story.
Absolutely. Right,
And I
right.
think
Absolutely right.
yes, and I think this is where the work becomes very precise. And
Mhm, mhm,
it comes, when you work more and more. And
mm,
like ownership for me, it's not about how something looks, it's about whether the person still recognize themselves in it and can say, yes,
mhm,
this is me, this is my voice,
mhm,
this
mhm,
is my
mhm,
personality. They're feeling
mhm,
represented, uh,
mhm.
and not being replaced, because no one
Right.
replaced them.
Mm, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. I kind of understand what you're saying. That sometimes um it's about their voice, and it's not about being taken over with what I feel is right. Sometimes what we feel is right, maybe not right and accurate to their representation. Yes, I completely get this. Okay, Sharon, so now I've got another question for you. Okay, so where do you draw the ethical line between reconstruction and fabrication, particularly when memory is fragmented and so subjective? And how do you ensure that using AI to protect identity does not dilute the emotional gravity of a survivor's testimony, especially in stories of genocide, victim account of rape and violence?
Yes, thank you. That's a very, very important question. First of
Yeah.
all, reconstruction is what we do. Fabrication is
Mm-hmm.
what we don't. So reconstruction means the survivor share with us her testimony, and we give her a voice, and we also give her the autonomy of what she wants to reveal. She can choose if she
Mm-hmm.
wants to
Mm-hmm.
testify and share her testimony uh, um, without revealing her face. We can cover her face with the AI avatar. We can generate her voice, or she could be neutral and just share her story. And as you know, generative AI can produce anything. So the ethical lines is what you choose not to produce. We have 5 principles run through every production: the consent, the transparency, authenticity, safety, and non-discrimination. And so this is our main ethical pillar that we are working along through all our projects. And also I can share that, for example, where we saw a lot of value, the Women, Peace and Security framework rests on 4 pillars: protection, participation, prevention, and relief and recovery. But in practice, those pillars operate in tension with each other. So a survivor who participates by testifying publicly may be putting her own protection at risk. A survivor who is protected by staying silent is removed from participation entirely. And that tension is what we set out to address. And using responsibly, generative AI can advance all 4 at once. So survivor who testify with their face risk, as I mentioned, everything from family rejection, stigma, state prosecution, even honor killing. This is insane. It's insane reality. And a survivor who testified anonymously behind a blurb screen or in writing lose emotional impact. And decision makers read those reports and they don't feel them. And in that gap between data and empathy, the accountability dies. But what we figure it out, narrative AI give a third option, one that does not force a choice. And this is a dual function we built into hearing their voices. So, which we launched this project in the UN in Geneva last December. So through AI generated avatar, survivor testified in her own words, in her own voice, with her face protected. Protection is only part of the technology, what the technology does. It also mediates. So from our experience, we saw, so it's not just protect the survivor, it's also used as a mediator because it's make content that would otherwise be too raw, too graphic, too triggering, actually watchable and accessible to people who need to act on it, for diplomats, prosecutors, policymakers, and the public. And so far, I'm excited to share that we worked very, very hard for a long time, and we gathered testimonies from Syria, from Ukraine, from Israel, from Iraq, Rwanda, and Iran. And in our lunch event, it's also interesting because we can bring together the different sectors. And we were endorsed by 30 international organizations. We collaborated with the Sheikh Muafak Tariq, the spiritual leader of the Druze community, director for Microsoft and tech organizations, diplomats. And I think this is the power of this project, how we can bring together the different sectors, protect the survivor, and amplify her voice.
Right, 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 Sharon. Yeah, I mean, that I think it gives power to the powerless, I think, or the voiceless. It's almost like
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
you putting a mic to somebody who's at the back and can't be heard. It's almost feels like that. Now, for the next question, before I ask you the next question, I'm just going to let you know that I've already seen this video and I was deeply moved with what you did. And I would really want to play this video. Um, I'm sure that everybody's going to feel what I felt while I was watching this, and then I probably will ask you the question. Uh, let's play the video.
Thank you.
In 2026, the streets of Iran filled with people demanding freedom. The regime answered with force. Tens of thousands were killed, and thousands of women, men, and children were subjected to severe sexual violence. As Iran stands at a turning point, the truth is breaking through. Morale is one of the voices emerging from within Iran, despite the risk.
For her protection, her face was digitally altered by AI.
همه رو یادمه تیراندازی خیلی شدید من دستگیر شدم داخل یه دونه ون منو بردن هر کدوممون گروهی به صورت 7-8 نفری میبردن توی اتاق من فکر کردم میبرم فقط کتک میزنم 7-8 نفر ما رو بردن به صورت گروهی به همون تجاوز میکردن هم عربی صحبت میکردن هم اتباع افغانستان بودن از اینایی که چشمای بادومی دارن که بعدها فهمیدم اینا گروه فاطمیونن هم ایرانی بودن 1 هفته این اتفاق افتاد اینم تاکید میکنم یادت نره که از همه اونا بزرگتر من بودن اینا گناه دارن اینا خیلی کوچول وقتی در قوانین اسلام رو بخونی خب یعنی توی قرآن گفت شده که اگر به جای حمله بکنن و پیروز بشن میتونن به زن و دخترها و حتی پسر بچه ها تجاوز بکنن و این حلاله میگفتن که شما غنیمت جنگی هستین حتی یه خانم گفت من متأهلم آقا من شوهر دارم میگفت تو حلالی به من زمانی که اومدم بیرون از اونجا تو بحران روحی شدیدی بودم بعد بحران روحی خیلی خیلی شدید من 2 بار تصمیم به خودکشی گرفتم این انجام دادم ولی هر شب تصمیمش رو داشتم من به نظرم فقط برای اینکه غرور تو پیش خودت بشکنم خب پیش خودت خورد بشی چون به نظر من زمانی یه خانم خورد میشه که مورد تجاوز قرار بگیره من تجربهشو نداشتم ولی الان فهمیدم ولی نمیدونن که یه زن ایرانی اونقدر قویه شاید 10 بارم تصمیم به خودکشی بگیره ولی باز بلند میشه Thank you so much, Rich. Okay. Thank you for sharing this. This is every time I watched it, I felt something inside me, and I'm being very honest that it moved me. Right? Thank you. You know, I'm just going to say something which is sad but true. That whenever first women never declare wars, it's always men who declare wars. And unfortunately,
wars always written through the bodies of women and children. It's so unfortunate. We don't want wars. We want peace. But yet wars are fought through our bodies. It's so unfortunate. And Mahal, she's probably one of them. And I don't know how many of them throughout the world is doing this. And I'm so sorry that they have to do this. And yeah, and I just feel that we're safer, probably somewhere. Anyways, okay. This video had about 1.1 million views, if I'm not wrong, with an outpouring solidarity and reposts. I mean, I've seen the number of reposts. I have reposted myself. So when you're working with this technology, how do you hold on to the authenticity, and what are the challenges you encounter? And I mean, I think both of you can answer this.
Yes, thank you so much also for showing this video. So I think, for us, it was a very fascinating journey while we were working on this video, like around, I think, more than 2 months ago, we released Mara's testimony, and she is 34, arrested during the January 2026 uprising in Iran, subjected to systematic sexual violence by the Islamic Republic security forces. It was first-hand, very rare documented testimony of sexual violence used as a weapon of oppression against the Iranian people, and produced in partnership with our amazing partner, Zadef Shakhi, the founder of the Iran House. So far, you mentioned 1.1 million views. So far we have even much more than that, because it's become very viral, and we consider million views. And also international media covered this testimony, this story. And actually those millions of people now who can no longer say they didn't know. They cannot say they didn't know what's happening in Iran, although some of them trying to say so. And unfortunately, so this testimony is very, very powerful. It draws attention to the suffering of survivors, and this is what matters. And the doubt is the cost of working with the technology, and we accept the cost going it and address it by our 5 ethical pillars. And if we are experiencing propaganda, it's because it does not have engaged with anything. Once they say, it's very easy to say, this could be fake. You don't have to look at Iran. You don't have to look at the pattern. You don't have to do anything, right? Because when people say it's not real, so actually they're saying, I don't believe you. And they try to silence the survivors over and over again. And what we do about it is very, very structural. Like every testimony, the moral testimony, or the other testimony, has explicit AI disclosure. Like we are very, very transparent with why are we doing this video, why we had to use AI, why we don't have any other choice. And the kind of documentary filmmakers don't include usually. And we tell the viewer exactly what was generated and why we do it for identity protection, when it's AI illustration, when it's AI avatar. We publish the ethical framework. We work with name partners and name institutions. So transparency is the answer to the doubt. If someone wants to disbelieve anyway, technology isn't the obstacle. The decision was already made, right? And the bigger picture, this technology is not going to be used either way. It's already used either way, right?
Absolutely.
Everyone around the world, by a few clicks, can create deepfake video, and people are doing so. Even not just people, it's some organized operations, and fabricate deepfake are already in every conflict zone, and documented ethical methodology and the protected identity while preserving truth is one of the few response that does not surround the field. And this is our, this is our goal. And we choose to build it before the bad actors finish setting the rules. So we want to show the world that we can use the AI in proactive way, in very ethical way, very professional, very sensitive, for the beneficial of society.
Right. Right. So I
Can I
feel,
just, yeah.
yes, please, Charles, yes, please, go ahead.
I want to add, since we're as viewers, as users, as you know, this time we were working with AI in an era of enormous mistrust, and it's kind of transparency. It becomes essential. It's not like a choice. It's essential
Absolutely.
for the
Yes.
creative work, and not
Yeah.
just ethically. It's just it's a
Right.
matter of being transparent, and that's why we also built like little icons that you can see on screen. Okay,
Yeah.
it's not
On the
be
left, on the left-hand side, yes.
on the left side, so you will always know
Yeah.
what you're watching. We don't
Yeah.
want to conceive anything. We don't want to hide anything. Everything we
No.
do, even if it's like illustrated or the avatar or the voice or everything, the viewer has to know what he's watching. And
Right.
that's why I wanted it's not because I wanted to distance viewers from the story, but because I believe audience has the right to know, what they're seeing. And today people question about every image and every video and they
Oh,
consume
absolutely.
online. And I don't think the answer is hiding the technology. The answer is putting
True.
it in front of
Yeah.
everyone. And honestly, I would love to see more creators adopt this kind
Yeah.
of
Yes. Yes.
indicators that
Yeah.
we've put, and the protocols of the work. And I actually invite everyone to use it, because
Yes. Yeah.
this is the right thing creatively to do.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just reading an article, and also, and it said that, deepfakes have been used extensively as psychological warfare, to instill hate against each other and to create propaganda so that real stories are hidden. So, in that world of fakes, I think deepfake using for good is a good one. I think I at least we're getting the stories out. So yeah. Oh yeah. All right. So a few I think around 2020 or something. I saw this documentary called Welcome to Chechnya. Uh, so films like Welcome to Chechnya, which used AI replacement to preserve identity while retaining emotional truth, and went on to win awards at the Sundance Film Festival and earned a BAFTA nomination as well, present a striking alternative to traditional anonymization techniques such as blurring or shadowing. Usually people blur or shadow, like we began our talk with, why that is an option and this is also an option. So, how do you see this approach in comparison? And do you believe it could become a standard practice in high risk storytelling? Because in Welcome to Chechnya, the people, it was about the LGBTQI community, and they were trying to flee and their lives were at stake. So, uh, I mean, I did see the making of it in bits and pieces, and I also saw behind the scenes as well, where they said that, these children first, I mean, few of the boys and girls, they first were ready to even talk about it, but later on they were threatened so much that they didn't even feel safe going to another country. So how do you feel that, in such practices, instead of even shadowing or even blurring over, this is a better practice? I mean, what do you feel, Tal?
First of all,
Since you've been a filmmaker, you've been in documentary filmmaking, and so I can also ask you as a perspective from what you feel about it.
of course, first of all, I feel that Welcome to Chechnya is an amazing film, because
Yes, yes,
he obliged to telling the truth and not
yes,
hiding them. And
yes,
don't forget, this film came out about 6 years
yes,
ago. I mean, the
yes,
technology has evolved dramatically since then,
Yeah.
and it's kind of
absolutely. Yeah.
remarkable, because I've seen, the director, David France, interviewing
Yes,
about how he
yeah,
did it. And It took
Yes.
him
Yeah.
it took him a year to create
To pin it
kind of,
down. Yeah.
the
Yeah.
avatars. It's not even avatars because they did it like it took like a VFX work, like face
Yeah.
donor, and they actually worked frame by frame, and something that today I can do it like in 5 minutes,
Absolutely.
and just because the technology changed. So this is
Yeah.
amazing, really.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
do feel that what was powerful in Welcome to Chechnya wasn't really the technology itself, but the fact that you could still emotionally feel the person underneath it. And this is what was groundbreaking for me. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
because traditionally, like stuff like blurring, shadowing, voice distortions, um, it might protect their identity, but they often also erase their emotional presence too. And you kind of stop connecting to a person when you start and you
Yeah.
start
Yeah.
connecting to the being anonymous itself.
Yeah.
And what
Yeah.
that film did differently was just trying to preserve humanity while
Yes.
still protecting people. This is what
Yeah.
also we're doing, who were in real danger. And I think that's why it resonated so strongly.
Yes. Yes.
It also
Yes.
showed something important. I mean, audiences are actually willing to accept AI or, deepfake or whatever you call it, okay, assisted, um, when they understand why it's being used.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And
And
I think in the
and when the
morals,
emotional truth still feels intact. So I think this is like the basic.
yes, because I think when I was watching the morale video and the other video as well, I saw that this is to prevent to help them preserve themselves, and for their security purposes, their faces have been altered. And I think people need to understand that it is not for
Yeah.
creating propagandas or stories or content that people say, but it is sometimes when they say their story, they're risking their lives. And it is so much important that when people do talk about this, why are they using deep fakes and why is there shadowing? I prefer deep fakes to shadowing because in both the cases, it's about whether I want to accept the truth at all, whether it is behind the shadow or whether it's a AI altered. How does it matter if the voice is real, right?
Yes.
So I felt it
Yes.
was it yeah,
And also when you
yeah,
compare it to something like Lucy
yeah,
Letby, so
yeah.
both
Oh
are trying
yes,
to
I'm
solve
just going to come to that. I'm going to come to
both are
that.
trying to solve the similar problem, okay? But the
Yes,
audience kind of experience it in a very different way. Because in Welcome to Cheshire, the technology almost disappears because you stay with the
yes,
person, you stay connected. And
true.
in Lucy Letby, I think for many viewers, the technology became visible. And when it's
Yes,
visible, the moment you start watching the technology, it kind of you watch the technique instead of the person. Something
Yeah.
breaks emotionally, so you can't connect. So
yes, yes.
it's
I
not
understand.
really
Yes.
about how advanced the technology is, because you see, Lucy Letby was created now, I think, no, like in
Yeah, it was
2026.
yes, 26. It was 26, and I did watch
And
it, and I yeah, 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 yeah. I'm just coming to that. Like as soon as we finish them. Yes. So, okay. So for people who haven't watched the investigation of Lucy Redby, I did watch it as soon as it came out. I mean, it was just a spontaneous thing that I was doing, and it is on Netflix. It is still streaming on Netflix. So it is still facing a lot of backlash, but after using AI to anonymize two subjects, I think it was Maisie. Yeah, I mean, if I'm not wrong, there were two a friend and the mother of one of the victims, right? So the
yeah,
AI used in filmmaking raised real questions beyond just the ethics of deepfakes. Where do you draw the line of protecting a source and reshaping the industry that tells a story? Would knowing a face was AI generated change how much you trust a documentary? Uh, so I did see a lot of people saying that, Why did they have to use a fake? And they could use a demonic voice and and a lot of like the shadow and everything. So I personally feel, and I think you might agree that this could, and like you said, that when there is something new, people are more focused on the technology, and the voice is somewhere lost in the process. So, what do you feel that this could be a new norm of storytelling? Do you feel so?
Yes, definitely. I mean,
Yes.
mm,
Go ahead.
Both
Go
of
no,
ahead.
you.
go ahead.
Yes. I think, yes, as an entrepreneur, as a creator, as a human being, we definitely need to leverage this technology also in that field of documentary and movie and video. But in order, to
No.
keep the authenticity, we need to be very, very transparent and have a disclosure
No.
about the rationale. Like the audience need to understand why the director used this kind of technology in that case and how
Mm,
we use it
mm,
and what is real, what is not
mm,
real. I can share that I just present our project in a very prestige forum. And
mm,
one of the people said, we talk about the disclosure, transparency. And then he said, okay, but you know what? It's not enough today that you are saying what is not real. Also, today we need to say what is real. And for me,
mm,
it was in the beginning, it took me a minute to think, I
yeah.
want this
Mm,
question to think, because
mm,
think about it. It's in such a reality we are living right now, right? Like we don't know what
mm,
is real, what is not real. So we don't need to disclose only where we are using the AI, but also what is real. Like this is a bit,
mm,
for me it was insane, but it got me thinking, maybe this is something we need to do. This is real. We need to be in more details. Okay, this is a real voice, real words, real, whatever it takes. But people, we need to be very, very precise and explain what is real, what is not real.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think
Mm,
also in our world, when we are touching such a very sensitive topic like sexual violence in conflict, but mainly in documentary when the facts are very, very important, right? And you want to tell
mm,
a real story to the audience. So it's very important to all of them to understand. But bottom line, I think, and also Tal mentioned that before, that, and this is part of our mission here, the technology is here, she exists. People all over the world are using it. Like there is no technological barrier, and it's very, very important to educate the experts and producers and director that they can use this technology. They don't need to be afraid, but they need to use it in
mm,
very, very professional, very respectful as way
mm,
to the people, and also to work with a core ethical principle. The main of them, of course, is
mm,
transparency and the safety of the people in those documentaries
mm,
as well. And
mm,
if you know what, if I may add, so one of the aspects that we mentioned is about safety. And when we touch in such a
yeah.
sensitive topics, so it's very, very important, first of all, to think about, consider the physical safety, but not only the physical safety,
Mm,
also the mental
mm.
safety of the
True.
survivor,
True.
because it's very
True.
important. So, of course, we protect her face in order to protect her
Right.
identity, but it's not enough.
Right.
Also, we avoid some very specific details. We decided not to include those details. However, they can bring a lot more value and more interest to the video, but in order to protect her. And also
That's
we erase all
exciting.
metadata and other technological trace. And on the
Mm,
other end,
mm,
from the mental safety, of course, it was very, very important for us to work with some experts and therapist and translator and with each of those survivors. So
mm,
also when we're working in such a sensitive topic, we need to take into account all this aspect of physical and mental safety.
right. Right. So do you feel that this is becoming the new grammar for in documentary filmmaking?
Yes, Yeah, you know, Tali, the
Yes.
expert here with the documentary.
Yeah.
For my end,
Yeah,
for Noor. Yes, in human rights, yes, that's for sure. It's here
I
and to
think,
stay, and we
yeah.
need to be very careful and precise.
Um, I think we're still at the very beginning of understanding this language,
Yeah.
but I do think it actually opens new and very exciting cinematic possibilities around. It's around absence, it's around trauma, memory, dissociation, and emotional distance. Like in ways, traditional documentary always like struggled,
Yes.
to represent. I mean, at the same time, you can say, okay, editing is also manipulation, okay, and music shapes
Yes.
emotions, and camera angles kind of shape perceptions. But
Totally.
so it always, it was always there. It's just the technique is changing. So I do think that we're going to see more and more and more of use of AI, especially in films and creations like these, where you just have to protect the person, or you can't, or you have like a scoop, and you want someone to be interviewed, but to protect them. So what's new now is that AI makes everything like much more visible and much more emotionally sensitive, especially when human identity itself becomes part of the process. And I think like in the future challenge, uh, it's not going to be only the technology. It will be actually like the emotional parts and the ethical parts. Like how do we preserve the trust, and how do we remain transparent, and how do we keep audience connected to a real human being underneath, all of this AI
The
thing.
layers. Yeah. Yeah, certainly. So, an interesting thing is, the book I had written was on genocide, right? And people tend to have a very little, like people tend to forget what has happened and what has an entire race given to preserve something or to stand for something. And it is so difficult because in those times we were not technologically advanced to record those moments. And sometimes I feel that AI can bring back those things more powerfully without having to put a person through the same thing. Sometimes it becomes an artist's advantage as well. If we don't want to put somebody through the same trauma again and again. I mean, I mean, for me, I would probably choose that instead of putting a person through that trauma and recreating and the same thing, which could be a very expensive affair for indie filmmakers like me. I would probably recreate it through deepfakes, keeping the authenticity, but being able to tell the story that I want to tell. I mean, it can be such an amazing, powerful tool for so many filmmakers who cannot have the money and the sponsorship and the funding and everything. Yes, it could be such a powerful tool. And thank you so much for doing this for so many people around the world. And I can just thank you. That's about it. Um, and I'm so humbled that this happened today. And I'm so humble to all, and I'm thankful to all of you that I got to ask these questions. There were so many more, but then I think we have a time restraint. So before we end this is amazing talk that we had, can I just request to I would request everybody to watch. It's a little longish, but I think it's very imperative that it is not just it's one directional storytelling. You would probably see how many people are able to tell these stories. And as filmmakers, as authors, as people, as just people, we are able to see this and the unfathomable pain that these people have gone through just coming out there. Uh, so Sage, would you just play this? And thank you so much. Yeah. That's it. Let's watch this together.
Most survivors can't show their face. For the first time, they don't have to. With AI, we protect them while still letting them be seen. Some chose to speak openly, others stay hidden.
Every story deserves to be heard, safely, loudly, through us. This is their voice.
It's very terrifying here.
عمري 14 سنة، ففاتوا علينا وبلشوا يهددونا. كانوا سوريين ومكتوب على بدلاتهم الأمن العام. رجع فات واحد داعشي، هو ما ملثم، مو مبينين غير عيونه.
Umuryango wacu ubuzima bwaho bwari bwiza, twari abana 12, akaba ari ngewe wari umuhererezi. Abatutsi barimo guhigwa, ingo batangiye kuzitwika.
Ми щойно приїхали із відпустки, і на другий день почалася окупація. А 7 березня вони вже були у моєму домі.
كنت 10 سنين 9 حتى. احنا كنا عارفين انه راح يهجموا دواعش، بس ما كنا عارفين في اي يوم. كنا نايمين في الساعة تقريبا 1 في الليل او بين 1 و 2 صار اطلاق نار.
ב7 לאוקטובר קרה לנו הנורא מכל. חדרו מחבלים לקיבוץ כפר עזה, לא תסריט שאי פעם דמיינו אותו, פחד מוות.
Byari biteye ubwoba aho nagize ubwoba aho maze kubonera aho abantu bakubiswe barimo kuza, aho abantu barashwe amaguru barimo kuza.
أجبرونا نحن نغير ديانتنا، انتقلنا على سجن تحت الأرض. حتى داعش إجا وضربني وقال لي ليش تبكي على أمك؟ قلت له يعني أنا صغيرة بدي أمي وهيك.
وقفني شلحني وعي، ما في أي وسيلة يتواصل معه، وكان في مثل فريزة صغيرة على البرندة المسكرة. وقفني عليها وكثير ضربني، يعني كنت أنا كثير عم بصيح، فضربني كثير على وجهي حتى أسناني تأذوا من كثر الضرب اللي كان.
До мене прийшов один. Він штовхнув чоловіка у кухню, навів на мене автомат, його розстріляв з автомата чоловіка.
אנחנו שומעים צרחות, אליהוד, אליהוד. זהו, הם מעבר לדלת. הם רצחו את הבעל שלי נדב, ואז ראיתי שירו לים בפנים. הייתי בשוק, הייתי עמומה.
فكانوا بياخدونا هنا سوق النحاس، ما أعرف، أعتقد سموه سوق النحاس.
اليوم سوق وما ملكت أيمانكم، اليوم التوزيع. هو نسيتي وين؟
وبينزلوا على التليجرام وصفاتنا مواصفاتنا وكانوا بيبيعوها.
ואנחנו עוברים את הגדר, ואנחנו בעזה. וכשהגענו למנהרה ופגשנו 6 ישראליות, אז הבנו שבחלק פגעו בתקיפות מיניות אכזריות.
Заставили роздітись і почав гвалтувати.
توقفني على الفريزر وحاول يغتصبني. حاولت أن أقاوم بس صار يأذيني كثير كثير، صار يضربني.
بعد ما غبت عن الوعي صحيت على حالي، يعني مغتصبني. صحيت على الوجع وصحيت على يعني كل دم، ما كنت أقدر أمشي.
bakaturongora bakadusambanya. Babaga ari benshi, si umwe si babiri, kandi byabaga buri munsi buri munsi buri munsi buri munsi. Ngo kandi nari mfite inda navanye Kabgayi.
ما كنت أعرف، بس فجأة يعني بطني كبر وحسيت الإشي كان بيتحرك ببطني بعد 5 شهور لما عرفت يعني إيش يعني حمل.
بعد ما اغتصبني طلع لبرا، في فوق 20 شخص بالبيت عم يهددوا أهلي وهيك. بدي يبين يعني.
You so much, Sage. I just want to ask one question to everybody. People who ask, whether these deepfakes are threatening us, or is it good for the society or the future and everything else. I just have one question. Those real photographs of people with guns, people selling women in the slave market, selling small children, were they more dangerous than these deepfakes being used to tell the real story? I just have this question. Just ask yourself, what is more dangerous? That, the real videos, or this, where Fawzia, Noor, Chan, Oksana, they use deepfake to tell their story. I think that's a very imperative question. You must ask this question to yourselves. Thank you so much, Heidi, Shiran, Tal. I'm so indebted to you, all of you.
Thank you. And just if I may add, First of all, thank you, Promita and Heidi, and for this to be in honorable stage. From our end, we are calling on creator, director, producer to build with us the convention of ethical AI in the documentary industry, the documentary film, and social impact videos. So we would love to share from our experience, and we think it could be beneficial for the industry. So thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you for creating such a thoughtful and important space for this conversation. And I'm really grateful. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the prayer.
Thank you, Promita, Shiran, and Tal. Sage, thanks for putting me back on the screen. I've seen that 9-minute video a few times, and I was glad I had time to collect myself because it's overwhelming to see all of those stories one after another. And in our conversations to prepare for this, Promita and I talked about how important it is, as hard as everything seems right now, especially for women, and rollback of women's rights and the denial of things that continue to happen to women. This technology and this ability to give voice to women who have been silenced, I find that one of the most powerful things in the work of amplifying women's voices is that ability to turn shame on its head from the victim to the perpetrator, and how powerful testimony of what has happened to someone can change not only their life, but everyone who hears it, whether it means you have to do something about it or you have your own story that you need to speak to power. And that's women's ways, right? The power of words. Promita, you started that women don't usually declare wars, but they sure do declare words, and we will not be silenced, and we have to keep moving forward. And this technology is going to already, but will continue to be a very powerful tool for women who continue to face being silenced and censored. So I'm so grateful that we were able to have this conversation with the Women's Voices Now Film Festival. And I invite the filmmakers who are part of this to reach out to Tal and Shiran. I will make sure you receive an email with how to reach them, because as you heard, there was an invitation to join them in this journey and to make it stronger together. So I think everyone should take you up on that offer. So with that, I want to thank everyone for being.
I'm reaching back. I'm definitely reaching Tal and Shiran now.
Wonderful.
You're my partner.
Yes.
Fantastic.
So many stories.
To the three of you for staying up late from your different time zones and having this conversation so focused and committed to the mission of the work that we're all doing together to give voice, to amplify women's voices. And with that, we'll close our session together. Thank you to our audience members. Reminder, we have one more week, one more event, which is the awards ceremony next week. Films are available for a couple more weeks. We hope you can watch as many as you possibly can on our custom-made festival platform that debuted this year. As an audience member, you have an opportunity to leave a review or a reaction to the films that you're viewing. So please put them there so the filmmakers can get a sense of how their film affected you. So please leave your reviews and your comments, share your emotions, your critiques even. I think filmmakers always want all the good, the bad, and the ugly to become better at their craft. So with that, I wish all of you a peaceful rest of the week, that we stay strong, that we stay together and in communication. And thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll see you soon. Bye, everyone.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.